After the age of 70, time suddenly becomes more precious than ever. Every morning when I wake up, I can make a cup of coffee, take a walk in the garden, or simply stand up from the armchair without anyone's help. These seemingly small things have great meaning. I still clearly remember the image of my paternal uncle Henry, my paternal uncle who is 76 years old this year but still walks around the park near our house every morning. He often jokes, "People measure age by the number of years they live, but I measure it by the number of laps I walk each day." But one time, while we were drinking tea, he turned to me and said, "You know, your body is never silent. It always whispers something, it's just whether you listen or not." That sentence made me think a lot. Indeed, as we age, our bodies become more subtle, sending out silent signals about our health, our resilience, and even our longevity. And if we learn to listen, to observe, we can understand where we are on our life journey and what we can do to extend it more meaningfully. In today's video, I want to share with you 7 small but important signs, things that doctors and researchers have found can reveal how long you will live after 70. These are not vague theories, but specific, familiar elements of everyday life, like the way you walk, sleep, eat, or even the way you talk to your loved ones. I invite you to sit down, relax, and listen, not just to me, but to your own body. Think about the last time you went for a walk. Maybe it was around the block to the post office to mail a letter, or just to the kitchen to get a glass of water. Did you walk briskly and confidently, or did you walk slowly, needing to stop a few times to rest, or holding onto a wall to keep your balance? Let me tell you about Joe and Frank, 2 of my best friends from the local seniors club. Both are 75 years old and both retired more than a decade ago, but their lifestyles are completely different. Joe gets up at 6 a.m. every morning, puts on his sneakers, and walks around the lake for 20 minutes. His steps are steady and decisive, his back straight, his breathing even. Walking not only helps me exercise, but it also clears my mind and calms my heart, he says. Meanwhile, Frank, who used to be very active, has slowed down considerably in recent years. When walking, he often has to stop after a few minutes, steps hesitantly. Sometimes he has to hold on to his son to cross the street. He jokes, maybe he's old, his legs get tired. But in fact, it's not just age. It's a sign of declining health. Researchers have found that walking speed after age 70 is one of the most accurate predictors of longevity. When you slow down, especially if it's something that has happened in the last few years, it can be a sign of muscle loss, weaker cardiovascular system, poor balance, risk of falling, dementia. A study in the US also showed that older people who maintain an average walking speed of 1 meter/second or more have a significantly higher survival rate of more than 10 years than those who walk slower. It sounds complicated, but in fact it just says, walk faster, live longer. So what can you do if you feel like you're slowing down? The good news is that your walking speed can be improved, and quickly. Here are 3 simple things you can start doing today. Walk for 5 to 10 minutes every morning, gradually increasing each week. Don't worry if you haven't gone far yet. The important thing is that you start. Work your leg muscles by standing up and sitting down from a chair without using your hands 5 times a day. This is a great exercise for your thighs and knees. Practice your balance. Stand on one leg, hold onto a wall if necessary. Hold for 10 seconds, 2 times on each side. And if you can, ask a friend or family member to walk with you. You'll get exercise, chat, and stay socially connected, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. As Joe once said to me one cool spring morning, as long as your legs can move fast, you're young, free, and in control of your life. Try testing your walking pace today, and if you find yourself slowing down, don't give up. Start again. You can get faster, fitter, and live longer, 1 step at a time. If you watched the first part of this video and took a short walk around your home to test your walking speed, thank you. That means you're already taking the first step toward listening to your body. If you haven't yet, I encourage you to try it later today. It's never too late to start paying attention to the little signs that tell us how well we're really doing. Now, let's talk about another signal, something even smaller, yet incredibly powerful: your grip. Yes, something as simple as how firmly you can hold on to something, whether it's a jar, a cup of coffee, or a loved one's hand, can quietly reveal a lot about your overall health and longevity. Let me tell you a story about two men I know, Robert and Walter. Both are 78, both retired, and both have lived full, hardworking lives. Robert is the kind of man who still enjoys light gardening. Every time I see him, he greets me with a firm, steady handshake that speaks volumes. It's not just a social gesture, it's a sign of strength, control, and vitality. Walter, on the other hand, started noticing small things a couple of years ago. Opening a jar became more difficult, carrying grocery bags felt heavier than before, and he often had to ask for help, something he never liked doing. One day, he told me, half joking, "These hands built a house once, now I can barely twist open a bottle of water." He smiled, but I could hear the frustration behind his words, and I knew what he was really feeling: the fear of losing independence. You see, grip strength isn't just about your hands. It's directly connected to your entire body's muscular health, your nervous system, and even your brain function. Studies show that weaker grip strength in older adults is closely linked to a higher risk of falls, frailty, and even a shorter lifespan. It makes sense, doesn't it? Your hands are your tools for life. When they grow weaker, so do the things you used to do without thinking: cooking, writing, dressing, lifting, steadying yourself. And when those things start to slip away, it can feel like you're slowly losing control over your life. That's a hard feeling, one that many people carry in silence. But here's the part I love to share: you can rebuild it. You can take that control back. Here are a few simple things you can start doing today. Squeeze a tennis ball a few times a day. Use a hand gripper while watching TV, or even just carry a small grocery bag with intention, knowing that every lift, every squeeze is building you back up. It doesn't take hours at the gym or expensive equipment. It takes consistency. It takes choosing not to give up. And most of all, it takes believing that your body, even at 70, 75, 80, is still capable of getting stronger. If you're still with me now, I'd love for you to leave a comment with the number 2 below, just to let me know that you're here, that you're listening, and that you're still fighting for your strength. Your comment helps me know I'm not talking into the wind. It reminds me that you're out there, real people, real lives, and we're walking this path together. Robert once told me, as long as I can still open the peanut butter jar, I know I'm doing okay. That made me smile, and I hope in your own way you find your peanut butter jar moment too, something small that reminds you you're still strong, still standing, and still moving forward. Robert's story reminds me of something else, something just as vital as walking speed or grip strength. It's something many of us don't think about until we start to lose it. Balance. You might be surprised to hear this, but your ability to balance something as simple as standing on one foot for 10 seconds can quietly predict how long and how well you'll live. I didn't believe it either at first until I started paying attention. There's a woman I know named Carol, 72 years old, full of energy and quiet confidence. Every morning she stands in her small kitchen and does what she calls her morning test. She lifts one foot off the ground just for 10 seconds while brushing her teeth or waiting for the kettle to whistle. She told me once, "If I can do this without wobbling, I know I'm still steady enough to live on my own." That simple act, it gives her a sense of control, and it should, because researchers have found that people who can balance well into their 70s and beyond are significantly more likely to avoid falls, maintain independence, and live longer. On the other side of that story is Nancy, also in her early 70s. She's always been active, used to volunteer, garden, and dance at family parties. But recently, she's noticed she gets dizzy when turning too quickly, or finds herself grabbing the wall when stepping out of bed. She brushed it off at first. Just a part of getting older, she said. But deep down, she felt a growing sense of unease. And that's the quiet fear many people carry as they age, the fear of falling. Not just falling physically, but falling out of independence, out of routine, out of the life they built for themselves. But here's the truth. Balance can be rebuilt. Even if you're feeling a bit shaky now, it's not too late. You just need to start gently, consistently, and with the belief that your body still wants to support you. Try this with me. Stand near a sturdy chair or countertop, lift one foot a few inches off the ground, and see how long you can hold it. 10 seconds, 5, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you tried, and that tomorrow you try again. You can also try walking heel to toe across the room, or even explore gentle practices like Tai Chi, which has helped thousands of older adults improve balance and prevent falls, often with grace and even joy. The truth is, you don't need to move like you did in your 40s. You just need to move safely, steadily, and with confidence. And if you're watching this and thinking, I used to be able to do that, I want you to know that it's not too late. You are not broken. You are not finished. You're still here, and your body is still listening to every step you take. If this part resonates with you, leave a comment with the number 3 below. Let me know. Can you stand on one foot for 10 seconds? Or is that something you'll work toward? I read every comment, and your story could inspire someone else who's just starting this journey too. Carol once told me, balance isn't just physical, it's emotional. When I feel steady on my feet, I feel steady in my life. And that, my friend, is something worth standing up for. Carol's words about feeling steady in life remind me of something just as important yet often overlooked: how well we sleep at night. You know, we spend almost a third of our lives sleeping, or at least trying to, but what many people don't realize is that sleep becomes even more essential as we age, not just for rest, but for healing, memory, and even extending our years. Let me tell you about 2 gentlemen, Henry and Bill, both in their mid-70s. Henry is the kind of man who sticks to a quiet routine. He has dinner around 6, reads for a bit, and goes to bed at 9:30 almost every night. He sleeps about 7 hours, wakes up early, and starts his day refreshed. He told me once, I treat my sleep like medicine, it keeps everything else working. Then there's Bill. He's been having a tough time sleeping the past few years. He tosses and turns, wakes up 3 or 4 times during the night, and sometimes lies awake until morning. He says he just can't shut off his brain. He worries, replays conversations, thinks about things from years ago. And during the day, he's exhausted. He forgets little things. He feels irritable, foggy, even a bit unsteady on his feet. What Bill doesn't know is that his poor sleep may be quietly affecting his heart, his immune system, and even his brain health. You see, during deep sleep, your body does its most important repair work. It regulates hormones, reduces inflammation, cleans toxins from the brain, and strengthens memory. Without good sleep, everything begins to unravel, slowly and silently. And yet so many older adults accept bad sleep as a normal part of aging. But the truth is, poor sleep is not something you have to settle for. If you find yourself waking up multiple times at night or feeling tired even after a full night in bed, don't ignore it. It could be your body's way of telling you something's off, whether it's stress, diet, lack of movement, or even something more serious like sleep apnea. But here's the hopeful part. There are things you can do to reclaim your sleep. Start with small, calming rituals. Turn off screens an hour before bed. The blue light from phones and TVs can disrupt your natural rhythms. Stick to a consistent bedtime, even on weekends. Get a little sunlight in the morning. It helps reset your internal clock. And avoid heavy meals or caffeine too late in the day. I once asked Henry what made the biggest difference for him. He said, I stopped watching the news before bed, started listening to old jazz records instead. That simple shift helped him relax, quiet his mind, and drift off with peace. Sometimes better sleep starts with something just that small. If this part speaks to you, if sleep has been a struggle lately, please leave a comment with the number 4 below. Just that small gesture lets me know you're here, you're listening, and most of all, you're ready to take care of yourself. Because sleep isn't just about rest, it's about renewal. And when you wake up feeling rested, you don't just live longer, you live better. You show up for your family, your friends, and most importantly, for yourself. We still have a few more signs to talk about. Small signals that may hold big meaning, But for now, I hope tonight you sleep a little easier knowing this: your rest matters deeply, and you deserve to feel whole again. After talking about sleep, I often think about how closely it's tied to another signal our bodies give us: our appetite. Not long ago, I was chatting with two women after a community wellness class, Margaret and Susan, both 74. We had just finished a gentle stretching session, and someone mentioned lunch. Margaret's eyes lit up. "I made lentil soup this morning," she said, "with fresh garlic, thyme, and a slice of sourdough bread." She spoke about food with joy, like someone savoring not just the meal, but the life that surrounds it. She told me how much she enjoys grocery shopping, trying new recipes, even growing a few herbs on her windowsill. For her, eating isn't just fuel, it's a pleasure, a ritual, a reminder that she's alive and in control. Susan, though, was quieter. She shrugged and said she usually just microwaves whatever's easy. "I don't really get hungry anymore," she admitted. "Some days I forget to eat lunch altogether." She'd lost a bit of weight in the past year, not on purpose, and was starting to feel more tired during the day. She thought it was just getting older, but I gently told her, sometimes a fading appetite isn't just age, it's a message. You see, what and how you eat after 70 can be one of the clearest indicators of your overall health and longevity. A healthy appetite usually means your body is still processing food efficiently, your muscles are getting the nutrients they need, and your brain is staying engaged. But when appetite fades or meals become a chore, it can signal more serious issues: nutrient deficiencies, muscle loss, even early signs of cognitive decline. It's not just about what's on your plate, it's about how your body responds to nourishment. Losing interest in food might mean your metabolism is slowing too much, you're not absorbing vitamins or protein effectively, you're feeling low emotionally, and it's affecting your appetite. But the good news? Just like with balance and grip strength, this too can improve. Here are a few gentle steps that can help. Eat smaller meals more frequently, especially if you get full quickly. Focus on whole, nutrient-rich foods: fruits, veggies, eggs, lean meats, beans, and healthy fats like olive oil. Stay hydrated. Many older adults confuse thirst with a lack of appetite. And make meals a social experience whenever you can. Eating with others naturally stimulates appetite and lifts the spirit. Sometimes it's not just about nutrition, it's about connection, about routine, about the comfort of a warm plate and a familiar smell. Margaret once said to me, "When I cook for myself, it reminds me I still matter." That hit me deeply, because she's right. Feeding yourself well is a form of self-respect. So if you've noticed changes in your eating habits, or if food just doesn't bring the same joy it used to, please don't ignore it. Leave a comment with the number 5 below and let me know how you're feeling, whether you're enjoying meals, skipping them, or somewhere in between. This is a safe space to talk about it. Because food isn't just about staying full, it's about staying strong, staying connected, and staying here with the energy to live the life you want. There's something powerful that happens when we nourish ourselves well, but as important as food is for the body, there's another kind of nourishment we often overlook: emotional nourishment. And that brings us to the next sign: how you handle stress. Stress doesn't always show up loudly. Sometimes it's the quiet ache in your chest when you're worried about a family member. Sometimes it's lying in bed, staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., thinking about bills or health tests or something someone said to you a week ago. And other times, it's just that sense of heaviness, like your shoulders have been carrying the weight of the world for years, and no one ever noticed. I want to tell you about two men, John and Richard, both 76, both dealing with their share of life's challenges. John recently had a small health scare. He was understandably shaken, but he took a breath and said, "I'll take this one day at a time." He started doing deep breathing in the mornings, walking more, and even joined a small group at the senior center just to stay connected. He told me, "I can't control everything, but I can control how I face it." Richard, on the other hand, was overwhelmed. He worried constantly about his children, the economy, politics, the future. Small problems felt huge. He didn't talk to anyone about how he felt, and it showed. His sleep suffered, his blood pressure rose, and his energy faded. He was living in a storm that never passed. And here's the truth. Chronic stress is one of the most underestimated threats to our health as we age. It affects everything from your heart to your memory to your immune system. It increases inflammation in the body, speeds up aging, and robs you of the peace you've worked your whole life to deserve. But there's also incredible hope here, because your response to stress is something you can learn to change at any age. You don't have to become a monk or meditate for hours. Sometimes it's as simple as sitting quietly and taking 5 deep breaths, slowly, going for a walk and noticing the trees, the sky, the air, calling a friend and talking it out, letting your emotions breathe, writing down your worries on paper and then setting them aside for the night. Even laughter, yes, real silly, unfiltered laughter, has been shown to reduce stress hormones. John once told me, "I started writing 3 things I'm grateful for every morning. It doesn't make my problems go away, but it changes how I carry them." And maybe that's the real magic, not erasing the weight, but learning to carry it with strength and grace. So I ask you now, when life gets hard, how do you respond? If you've been feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or emotionally drained lately, please know that you are not alone. You're human, you've been through so much, and you still deserve peace. If this part of the conversation touches you, leave a comment with the number 6 below. You don't have to share your story unless you want to, but just knowing you're out there taking this in means everything. Because how you handle stress, it isn't just about mood, it's about your heart, your brain, your quality of life. And you deserve joy. You've earned peace. You still have time to breathe a little deeper and live a little lighter. We've talked about walking, strength, balance, sleep, food, and even how we handle stress. But there's one last sign, one that might surprise you with just how powerful it is. Your relationships, your connection to others. It turns out that loneliness is more than just a feeling, it's a health risk. And connection, real meaningful human connection, is as essential as exercise or eating well when it comes to living longer and living well. I think about 2 women I met a while back, Eleanor and Barbara, both 78, both widowed, both living in the same community, but their lives look very different. Eleanor has a group of friends she meets every Thursday for coffee and cards. She calls her sister every Sunday, volunteers at the library once a week, and video chats with her grandkids whenever she can. She laughs often, she listens deeply, and she said something I'll never forget. "It's not that I don't get lonely, I just don't let myself stay there." Barbara, on the other hand, spends most days alone. Her children live far away. Her old friends have drifted. She rarely answers the phone, not because she doesn't want to, but because she's convinced no one really wants to hear from her anymore. She watches TV for company, but the silence in the house is heavy, and over time that silence has started to affect her energy, her memory, even her appetite. Studies have shown that loneliness can increase the risk of heart disease, depression, cognitive decline, and early mortality. Yes, literally shorten your life. But the flip side is just as powerful. People with strong social ties tend to live longer, stay sharper, and recover faster from illness. And here's the best part. You don't need 100 friends. You just need a few real connections. Maybe it's a neighbor you wave to each morning. Maybe it's an old friend you haven't spoken to in years, but would love to call. Maybe it's a book club, a church group, a walking buddy, or even leaving a comment here to let anyone know you're still here, still listening, still caring. You have more to offer than you realize. Your stories, your wisdom, your kindness. And someone out there, maybe even right here, is waiting to hear from you. So here's my gentle invitation. Leave a comment with the number 7 below. If you've ever felt the ache of loneliness, or the joy of connection, or if you just want someone to know that you're here, because you are, and you matter, deep. Eleanor once said, "The best medicine I've found in my 70s is a good laugh and a warm conversation." And you know what? Science agrees. You don't have to face aging alone. You're part of something bigger. You're part of this community right here, right now. With that, we've reached the end of our journey through the 7 quiet signs that may reveal how long and how well you might live after 70. But the real message is this. These signs aren't warnings, they're invitations. Invitations to move, to nourish yourself, to rest deeply, to connect, to find joy, and to keep choosing life one small step at a time. If any part of this video spoke to you, I'd be honored if you left a comment, shared it with a friend, or simply saved it to revisit when you need a little encouragement. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. We'll keep sharing helpful, heart-centered content like this, made just for you. You are not alone. You are valued, and you still have so much life ahead.